Hello everyone, welcome back to PC Species. Now in the past few weeks, we've been doing a lot of GPU reviews and all of that. Now, since a GPU goes into a PC, we decided to do a PC build for this one. So the budget for this one, this configuration is around 1 lakh rupees. And what do you get for 1 lakh rupees? You get stellar 1080p gaming performance, very good 1440p gaming performance, very good performance in editing and all of that, and with a slight change, very good performance in 3D workloads and AI workloads as well. This is the list of the parts that you have on the screen. The prices are written there, the total and the alternatives as well. Let us discuss these components individually. We are going to start with the processor. We are going with the AMD Ryzen 5 7600X. You get 6 cores, 12 threads, maximum boost clock is 5.3 GHz. So overall, it is a very good gaming processor, and even in productivity as well, it is not too bad. So it is a good idea to go with this processor. It has a very good price right now. Now, we could have gone with the Ryzen 5 9600X as well, but then again, the performance difference between these two is not a lot, and it is priced around 3,000 to 4,000 more than this one. So it is a good idea to get this one, but if you want to go with the latest and greatest, you can go with the 9600X as well. Now let us discuss the motherboard. We are going with the Gigabyte B850 Gaming X Wi-Fi 6E AM5. Now, I could have saved some money on the motherboard, but I did not want to. I wanted to get a B850 board, and this one seemed like the most value for money at the moment. The reason for that is, if you go into the specifications right here and check out the expansion slots, you get a PCIe 5.0x16 slot. Now, in most of the boards that are cheaper than this, you get Gen 5 for SSD, but not for your expansion card, that is your GPU. So that is why I went with this board, and you can check out the rear IO as well. You get a decent number of ports and all of that. The only thing that I found a little odd was the placement of the Wi-Fi antenna connector. This is going to, intertwine with the wires that are already in there. So that is a bit problematic, but then again, this is something that can be worked around easily. So this board is going to give us a decent value and also future upgradability, because I feel like this board will be able to handle a Ryzen 7 and even Ryzen 9 processors as well. Now let us talk about the memory. We are going with Adata XPG Lancer Blade 32 gigabytes, that is 2 sticks of 16 gigabytes each, and the speed is rated at 6000 megahertz with the timings of CL36. For this price, this kit is alright. 6000 megahertz is a sweet spot for Ryzen. If you want to go with something with RGB or something like that, you might have to shell out around 1000 or 1500 rupees more. So you can decide on that. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is that you have to get 2 sticks of 16 gigabytes each in a kit around 6000 megahertz and CL36. Let us talk about the storage now. We are going with the Crucial P3 Plus 1TB Gen 4 SSD, 5000 Mbps read speeds and 4200 megabytes per second write speeds. The thing is, I could have gone with the Gen 5 drive, but then the price would have been a little higher, and the performance difference, I don't think you are going to feel that in everyday tasks and all of that. So for that, I think this drive is alright, but if you want to go with the absolute latest and greatest, just go with the Gen 5 drive. Now this is our main component, and we have to thank AMD for letting us fit a graphics card of this caliber into this budget, which can provide very good 1080p gaming, very good 1440p gaming. So the GPU that we are using is a Sapphire Pulse AMD Radeon 9060 XT 16 gigabytes, and we are getting it for just 36,400 rupees. Now, we have done a lot of videos reviewing the 5060 Ti and comparing it against the 9060 XT 16 gigabytes variants for both of them. The 9060 XT was not too far behind the 5060 Ti. So in most of the cases, you're not going to notice the difference between these two. So for this price, I think this is the best GPU available at the moment, and just make sure you get the 16 gigabytes variant. The next component that we have is the power supply. We are going with the Corsair CX750 bronze. We could have gone with a fully modular power supply, gold rated and all of that, but the price difference would have been around 3,000 rupees. So I think for all intents and purposes, this power supply is going to serve you quite alright. But if you want to go fully modular and 80 plus gold, I think you're going to have to shell out some more money, around 8,000 to 8,500. You can get a decent 750 or 850 watt power supply with this. But even on this power supply, I think the GPU is going to be powered just all right. The processor is going to get just enough power. All your components are going to have all the power they need. And even for future upgrades, if you decide to upgrade your GPU or the CPU, I think this power supply is going to serve you well for that as well. Now let us talk about the CPU cooler. So this one has been my favorite for a very long time. Now, before we took a long break, on our channel, I reviewed this CPU cooler, and it I mean, for the price, it is a very, very good cooler. Okay, so I tested it even on a 5950X. Obviously, there was some performance bottleneck because of the temperatures it was hitting. But even then, without precision boost overdrive and all of that, it was able to keep the 5950X cool as well. So for 7600 or even a 9600X and even a 9700X, I think this CPU cooler is going to work just fine. Now the 9800X 3D might be a little bit too much for it, and again, you want some headroom to play around with. So if you want a bigger cooler, you can probably go with the Deepcool AK620, which is going to set you back by around 5400 or 5500 rupees. So you can go with that, but I think for this build, I think this cooler is going to suffice. Let us talk about the CPU case now, the cabinet. This is a very subjective thing, alright. So around 4500 rupees, I think you can get cases from other brands as well. But what I do in general is recommend products from brands that I've personally used. I've used ANTEC and it turned out quite alright. I had no problems with it. So with this one, you get a ventilated front panel, 2 fans already there, one is there for exhaust. And about the expandability as well, you can fit up to a 360mm radiator on the front, up to 280mm in the top, and also the maximum CPU height is around 168mm. So the Noctua NH D15 that I have has a height of 165mm, so it is going to fit in this case just fine. The only problem is going to be if your RAM module is taller, you might have to move the front fan of the D15 a little upwards, which might make it incompatible with this case. But then again, that is just the NH D15. If you use any regular dual tower cooler, I think they are going to fit in this case just fine. And for the price, I think it offers decent enough value. So these are our components, and if you take a look at the total, we are at around 95,600 rupees. Now we are 4,000 rupees below 1 lakh, and for that price, the performance that you're getting with this build is going to be stellar. But now, as I told you earlier in the video, if you want to do 3D modeling and all of that, and if you are into AI as well, you have to change the GPU. So we've seen in the past reviews as well, the AMD cards are still far behind NVIDIA in terms of 3D modeling and AI workloads. So despite the 5060 Ti 16GB at this moment being a very poor value, I simply cannot recommend AMD for 3D workloads or AI accelerated tasks and all of that. So the cheapest I could find was an Inno3D GeForce RTX 5060 Ti. It is a 16GB model. Make sure you get the 16GB one and not the 8GB one. The price is around 45,500 rupees, and if you use this one instead of the 9060 XT, the total comes at around 1,04,700 rupees. With the 5060 Ti though, you'll be golden for 1080p gaming, 1440p gaming, all sorts of editing, 3D workloads and all of that. It is going to be a stellar all-rounder. I just wish the 5060 Ti was a little cheaper, because at 45,500 for an Inno3D card, it's a lot of money. And if you want to go with some other AIB like Zotac or Asus or something like that, you might have to shell out more, around 49,000 rupees. So I just wish the 5060 Ti was a little cheaper. But then again, this is all we have for now. So this is it for this video. Now, if you like the content, we keep doing all sorts of this, PC builds and GPU reviews and all of that. We are going to add more components as well and make, more kinds of videos. So if you like the content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.